Hi, you guys. This is Rachel here, the Modern Shaman. Thanks for being with me for another YouTube Q&A video this week. If you're new to the channel, I'm glad you're here. I would love for you to hit the subscribe button, get notified when I send new videos out, and you have to hit the notification button for that, the little bell, as well as sign up on my website for my newsletter that comes out every week and essentially tells you updates of when videos are put out or any sort of touring or special or speaking event that I may be a part of. Also, if you haven't visited the website, that's a great resource. I always guide people there, and if you'd like to sit with me for a personal session, all of my online calendars are on my website, as well as the different types of sessions, what I offer, and my teaching modules if you'd like to follow a masterclass teaching curriculum and go much deeper in your personal gifts through psychic development and energetic awareness and shamanic awareness, as well as healing modalities, readings. All of that is available on my masterclass teaching curriculum that is in a link and a portal connected to the website. So essentially go to the website, everything is there. For you to follow through with wherever your heart is leading you to connect. Okay, here's the question that you all sent in for this week. Actually, she sent this in a while back, but there's been kind of a stack of them, so I have to get to them one at a time. Thanks for your patience. This one says, "Hi Rachel, thank you so much for all of your videos. One of the most profound for me was the one about multidimensional communication. This is the first time I've heard of it, but it's exactly how I am perceiving spiritual information. Thank you for making it clear for me. I have a question. Can you tell us about how to energetically disconnect from somebody when you get information this way? Sometimes when I'm trying to sleep, I keep receiving a lot of stuff, thoughts, pictures, feelings, etc., all together from a person I've met or talked to that day. Thank you." Okay, I will put a link at the end of this video for that video that she's talking about in case you haven't seen it, about multidimensional communication and how spirit from higher level connection is speaking to you. It's not just clairaudience, clairsentience, clairgustance, claircognizance, and the like. It may be all of those things all at once from multidimensional beings. So let's talk about your question. How do we energetically disconnect? I have a lot of videos on energetic hygiene, psychic protection, and this kind of butts up against that. Like, your question is similar, but it's specifically to disconnect when you're trying to go to sleep. All right, let me give you some tidbits of help here. If you are energetically sensitive and are picking up information and particularly have difficulty when you're going to sleep. Sleep is a tricky one because I feel like sometimes, I hate to say it, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I feel like sometimes spirits take advantage of human beings during this period in our hypnagogic state, that like right before you wake up or right before you fall asleep. And I'm not trying to make you paranoid, but it's just a lazy time in our free will. We're tired and we're moving sometimes in body, out of body. And so our connection to the mind is loose. And in that way, we seem a little bit more vulnerable. And I have this happen to me too, just the other day, actually. And I have firm psychic boundaries, but every so often I have to kind of reiterate and get back to the basics for myself. So don't let that be discouraging. I do that too. I had some dream the other night, and it was like this alien had like tapped into my brain, like drilled into my brain, and was like sucking stuff out. And I was aware if I could just say in my psychic, like with my voice or with my psychic boundaries, like, no, you can't do that, then it would stop. But I was dreaming, and I was kind of in and out, and I was trying to like wake myself up, like had some lucidity to it. And I thought if I could just wake myself up and speak and my free will, I could stop this. So I was having trouble because when I was speaking, and of course my husband's like, you were like mumbling all night. And I was like, yeah, I know. I was trying to speak, wake myself up. But anyways, I had this awareness that if I could just wake myself up or speak out loud, I could claim in my own free will a boundary there, and they would have to uphold it. But I was in that state of kind of in between, and it was difficult. So I don't know what that has to do with anything other than I've been there, done that. I'm still there. There's not really a place where you get to where you're like, I'll never have to do this again. Just like keeping up with our own hygiene as a human being, all right? It's not like you get to a place where you never have to wash your hands again. And you're like, I never have to wash my hands. You live and breathe in this environment. We are living and breathing in many dimensions at once, interacting with physical and non-physical beings of variations of the light spectrum, which means some we can see and some we can't see. Some that only show up when we close our eyes and we can see through our third eye, okay? And so you're just gonna have to keep up your hygiene throughout your experience. And so the first bit of advice that I would give you, getting back to your question, sorry for that tangent, but I feel ya. And don't be discouraged by the fact that you're asking this question. The first thing I would suggest is to get a hygiene practice that works for you. A spiritual hygiene, psychic hygiene, energetic hygiene practice, especially from the day. If you're working with clients and you're picking up information, or maybe you're not working with clients, you're just extremely clairsentient, empathic, you're picking up energy all day. Most people are, because we are multidimensional beings ourselves. And whether we realize it or not, we are engaging with the world that we cannot physically see. Just like our cells are engaging in this kind of warfare, or this kind of like the white blood cells are fighting off disease and bacteria and things that they're exposed to on a daily basis. That's their job, that's how they live, and that's how our body survives and keeps itself in a positive state, in a healthy state. The same is true for you as a spiritual being. To keep yourself in a positive state, we have to keep those things coming in that bring light into our life, that bring goodness, purity, health in our mind. So thinking positive thoughts, listening to things that inspire you, being in nature, being in environments that uplift you, do the things that make you feel good as a person. This is just as much a part of your hygiene as doing the things that make you feel protective and clean, okay? And the cleaning aspect of that would be like making sure that you have a practice that lets go or discharges the energy that you may pick up at the end of the day. I know for me, my go-to practice is a bath. And that is a very intentional. Water for me is very purifying. It is literally the energy of being rebirthed, cleansed, recreating the self. So at the end of the day, I take a bath pretty much every day, unless I'm traveling. And I even ask for hotel rooms that have a bathtub, because oftentimes I'm doing work while I'm traveling and I'm engaging in that level of multidimensional communication all the time. So when I'm taking a bath, it's not just a regular bath. My hygiene practices, and this is just one I can share with you, I try to engage all of my multidimensional senses. So I make sure that I put my head underwater. So I essentially mute the mind. I mute the external world, and I try to have that kind of noise canceling. You could do this with noise canceling headphones, right? Or earbuds or something. But essentially I turn off, and I like that physical engaged feeling of being under the water, of submerging myself in a way that feels like everything that I experienced, everything I've been going through, all the world and the necessities that it presses upon you sink, right? And they quiet. And I pay attention to the quiet, okay? Because you can do that. You can clean your hair, you can wash your body, you can literally go underneath water and not think about it and not engage the realization that I don't hear anything, or my sound has changed. Something has shifted here. You have to engage that aspect of yourself. during your hygiene practices that tells yourself that something is shifting. I am doing this to shift my energy, to let it all go. The same with telling the water to take off the aspects of you that have picked up that energetic charge, right? There is a literal static electricity that's built in our electromagnetic field that water cleanses and shifts. It is a literal physics reaction to shift an energetic charge in through water. Okay, it gives it direction. So it goes down the drain. It can take it off the body and move it into the drain. It will move that charge away from you. So you simply set that intention that the water be that, taking away the electrical charge from the body. You can also add salt, that aromatic. I also like to put in like essential oils of eucalyptus and mint and activate all of the smells of cleanliness, okay? So I'm using all of my senses there to kind of reiterate the fact that this is cleaning and cleansing me. The next thing I will tell you to do is make sure that you are stating to spirit what you want to happen when you fall asleep. So when you hit that pillow, again, I have like a lavender spray. I also use like a lavender pillow sometimes that essentially says, I want to use this time to go to sleep alone. I don't want to use this time to process. Don't do things right before bed that activate you, right? Don't watch TV. Don't look at your phone and go through your emails. These are all activating energies for the mind, right? Let's get the motor started, and they begin to kind of bring things all up, and then your sleep is not as restful. So when you move into that time of sleep, tell spirit what you want it to do, okay? I want to go to bed. I want to be in peace. I want to sleep soundly all through the night. This is my sacred space. This is my cave. This is my rejuvenation time, whatever it may be. Move into that kind of positive affirmation of that's what that time is for. Remember, spirit is listening. Your body and the cells in your body are listening for those directives. And then the last thing I would tell you to do is to ask protection from the higher realms, from your guidance team, from your higher self, from the archangels. Whatever it is that you feel gives you that sensation of protection from the non-physical realm, ask them in those times when you feel vulnerable to protect you, to block out any negative energies or any remainder, kind of that, like the residue from the day of communication. Ask them to block that out. I would also, I said that was my last thing, but there's a practice activity that I teach in my masterclass when we are going through kind of clairaudience and the strengthening of your clairaudient abilities. And part of your clairaudient abilities is to turn off the voices. Remember, clairaudience is the ability to hear the non-physical. And so when you are picking up information, we practice being able to mute, like hit the mute button, which is similar to what I was sharing about going underwater or the noise canceling headphones. So I would actually practice this for yourself so that you can turn it off and turn it on. And the way that you can first practice that is literally by putting on headphones or having your earbuds in and turning on the noise canceling and turning off and turning on and turning off, or putting headphones on and taking them off in an environment that's kind of noisy. And then trying to reiterate and mimic the same experience on your inside of your head, right? So you think a thought and you get real busy with that thought, a memory or something that triggers you in an emotional way. Like, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe my kid said that. I can't believe I forgot this, or I can't believe I was late. Something that kind of hits you and gets your mind going, right? That has an emotional content to it. The emotional content is basically the energetic charge to that. So that charges you, it gives you kind of like that to it. And then all of a sudden, hit the mute and release it. And do that again, another event. Let it ride, let it talk in your head, and then hit the mute button. You can also do this with, again, the emotional energy that you're picking up. Now, I don't know what it is at night that's happening. You said multidimensional communication is still happening. You're hearing. What does it say? I'm receiving a lot of stuff. Thoughts, pictures, feelings. So you can do the same thing with your clairvoyance, with the pictures, all right? So see something in your mind, close your eyes, see it, get into as much detail as you can, every little granule, like just see all the details, and then shut it off and pretend that you have like a black piece of construction paper, just sealed it off like you sealed it, black, nothing but black. And then you pull the curtain away or you pull the construction paper away and you see it again. So practice utilizing your own abilities to work in your favor, getting control over that, right? This is just, again, this is what I teach. When I teach your abilities, you want to have a sense of control over it, not just the activation of it. Like everyone's getting stuff, but like, how do you utilize it? You have control over that. A lot of times we just haven't practiced the control. So even though that time going into sleep or waking up is a little more vulnerable and is harder to utilize that muscle, I would also encourage you to practice in the meantime so that before you go to sleep, you can mute or you can shut the curtain or you can do those practice activities to make sure that your hygiene is in effect, and then you go to sleep. I hope that's helpful to you. I'm going to sign off here, but I'll be back next week with another video. Bye, you guys.